Welcome back to Young Tripp Reactions. The next video we're going to do is Black 7-year-old girl was unalived by her white caretakers. Make sure that you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Young Tripp family. There's a whole bunch of people watching, but only a handful of people are subscribing. Also, if there's any videos that you come across that you think that fit the channel, you can post them in my community tab, or you can send it to me through direct message on Instagram. My Instagram will be typed out in the pinned comment, and the link where you can just hit to go straight to my Instagram will be posted with the link in the description where you can just hit it and go straight to my Instagram. Again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, join the Young Tripp family, and let's get into this. This is crazy.
Black 7-year-old girl is murdered. Black 7-year-old girl is murdered by her white caretaker. Give you the details on it. 7-year-old black girl tortured and killed by 3 women from the same family who were entrusted with her care. She's an angel, a literal angel. Their names are Elyssa Seymore, Emily Kelly, and Barbara Renner. According to the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office in New York, the child, Jor'Dynn Duncan, was found unconscious after her caretaker called 911 to report a cardiac arrest. That was December 29th, 2025, approximately 10:30 a.m. After being transported to a hospital, Jor'Dynn was pronounced dead rather than a cardiac arrest. An autopsy found that Jor'Dynn died from a massive untreated infection related to approximately 90 sharp force injuries. It's becoming clearer. After being transported to a hospital, Jor'Dynn was pronounced dead rather than a cardiac arrest. An autopsy found that Jor'Dynn died from a massive untreated infection.
A massive untreated infection. Insane. Let's continue.
Related to approximately 90 sharp force injuries. It's becoming clearer.
And 90 total injuries. Insane. Let's continue.
What an innocent child. Further investigation found extensive photographic and video evidence on Kelly's cell phone and cloud account showing Jor'Dynn being abused and tortured. Injuries dating back to January 2025, according to authorities. Grio filling in some of the reporting here. Grand jury has indicted Emily Kelly, age 50, second-degree murder charges. Her mother, Barbara Renner, 75, indicted for second-degree manslaughter. Kelly's daughter, Elyssa Seymore, age 24, indicted for unlawful imprisonment in the first degree. Full list of charges under the indictments also include several counts of endangering the welfare of a child, and 1 count of reckless endangerment. Investigators found that Kelly, who was white, is the fiancée of Jor'Dynn's father, Derek Dixon. By her own request, she was given guardianship over Jor'Dynn by Child Protective Services in December 2024, later gaining full custody in April 2025.
Absolutely insane. Had temporary custody, then was granted full custody, and over there abusing the girl. Absolutely insane. Let's continue. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family.
Between January 2025 and June 2025, Jor'Dynn reportedly missed 40 days of school. Where's the follow-up?
40 days. She missed a total of 40 days of school. Where was the teachers at? Where was the principal at to call to be like, we have a student that's missing like a ton of school. She missed 40 days of school. And how did y'all see her when she came through the school? Or was she like a ghost floating in the air or what? Because I'm sure she came, they probably let a lot of the scars and stuff heal, but I'm sure you looked at her and seen that something was wrong. But yeah, just probably turned a blind eye, didn't care. Let's continue.
Which Kelly falsely attributed to illnesses, deaths in the family, a trip to Disney World. This is sickening. The child would have loved to go to Disney World. Instead, she's dead. This is sickening. The obituary for Jor'Dynn shares that she danced through life with sass, rhythm.
And what school would allow a student to miss school just to go to Disney World? I get the whole passing of relatives and all that. But how many times did you tell them that? Because if you told me that and I was a principal of a school and you told me that too often enough, I'll be wondering, well, can you bring obituaries? How was this person related to this person? All that, knowing that it just keeps happening, right? Yeah, you really don't want to try to push all that, but if it's happening too often, because I'm sure they were beating on her and doing stuff to her every day, right? I mean, in 40 days of school is a lot. Let's continue.
And instead, she's dead. This is sickening. The obituary for Jor'Dynn shares that she danced through life with sass, rhythm, and a smile that could melt hearts. They meant to say when she wasn't being abused in her final moments. She survived by her 12 siblings, her parents, Portia Duncan, Derek Dixon. True to her name, Jor'Dynn Rose was grace and beauty in full bloom, per the obituary. Though her time on this earth was far too short, her impact was mighty. She taught those around her how to love deeper, laugh louder, to appreciate every moment. Well, not everybody. Not everybody appreciated this beautiful gift. Her spirit remains woven into the hearts of all who knew her. Nice send-off didn't have to happen. And to those who knew her and, as the accusations go, murdered her, abused, tortured, and murdered her, the law needs to figure that out. And it needs to reach and wrap its arms fully around what happened to this 7-year-old beautiful child who deserved to, I don't know, breathe and go to school more and not be tortured or have some kind of infection or whatever else happened with these wounds that were discovered post-mortem. I think the child deserved just the basics, not to be tortured. I want justice if these 3 are the subhumans who did it. Throw the book at them, Jamie. But I also, again, I don't want to hear about caseworkers who have too many cases. That's true. Got it. Stipulate. I want to know who dropped the ball. I want to know why there's no follow-up. When an eager woman steps forward to take guardianship over this beautiful Black child or any child, we need answers here because those 3 disgraces, okay, we know they're disgraces even before things are fully adjudicated because she was in their care and something went down here and there's documented evidence and talk of cell phones and wounds. Okay, so we know already that they were unfit, but I need to understand, Jamie, why children are just like, it's not that important. I got a house being built behind my property and there's inspections and all kinds of things going on because that's the law. And that's the ordinance. What about protecting the kids with the basics? Your turn.
Well, my background is in family law. I've worked for a family court for a decade, and I've seen cases like this time and time again, and even cases like this where there was a child in custody of the state or under state supervision that still had this amount of egregious mistreatment, and it's sickening. It's disgusting. I identify myself as progressive on many issues. I'm chair of the Democratic Party in this area, but it's cases like this that make me pro-death penalty, because if you can do something like this to another human being, let alone a child that is in your care and custody, I don't know another remedy that I think is fair and appropriate. And certainly there need to be a lesson sent out to not only people who are wrongdoers, but people who have this in their heart, this capacity in their heart to abuse such a vulnerable and innocent and beautiful life like this. I think there is no better solution than the very most egregious punishment that the law can offer. And I think if the allegations are as report them are proven to be true, I think these three individuals, they got a lot coming for them. There is an extra layer for me, given that this is a Black child in the custody of who she was in custody of. I don't know how I feel about that. I definitely feel there's something there for me. And I have seen many cases, like I said, of abuse, or of people who are serial foster parents, where they have taken custody and care of other folks' children, and then it turns out they were abusive. That's not to say that that's the case for every foster parent. It's a wonderful, it takes a heart of service to put yourself out there to do that. But not everybody who does it for the right reasons, for sure. And I think the state of New York, just like the state of Alabama and every other state, whether it's Child Protective Service or Department of Human Resources, need to beef up their investigative prowess to be able to investigate not only the parents that are being abusive or potentially abusive, but your placement. Where are you placing this child? I think the state should be held criminally responsible if this were to occur against a child that's in their custody and care.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you can't handle custody of the children, then I don't know why you're taking it on. Okay. And I understand there's got to be some kind of regulations and when parents fall off or are unfit. But this is not the solution to have a child not with a parent, perhaps because they're unfit, and then go into a situation with a monster who apparently, if the evidence proves true with these videos, enjoyed not just doing it, but documenting it for what? But it's really sick. And I too share that dilemma, progressive in so many ways, but I don't know what you do with a monster breathing among us. I don't know what else, what do we do to protect the rest of society from someone like that? I don't know. We'll keep following it.
3 adds up to all-in-one small business insurance. One comprehensive policy. One bill to pay each month.
Yeah, that is that is a very tragic story. And they are definitely uncivilized to document what they were doing. Watching her get infections, beating on her, having her miss 40 days of school. Absolutely insane. And the Department of Family Services needs to, even after letting someone adopt or even foster kids, you need to constantly keep going out and checking. Even doing pop-up random visits and all of that, because you just don't know who you really are giving these kids to. You need to be able to make sure that they are fit, popping up. Hey, how you doing? Oh, well, we didn't know you were coming today. Yep, that's the whole point. And if you see something wrong, then you could pull the child out, or you could pull the child aside and ask what's going on, get a hold of a judge immediately to get a warrant to be able to, or a court order actually, get a court order to be able to remove the child from those people's custody and make sure that they get whatever, paperwork, license or whatever to make them where they can foster children, to make sure that it gets suspended, or for them to be able to adopt kids or whatever, make sure all of that all gets suspended so that they can't do it. But yeah, this is absolutely insane, what happened to this child. Obviously her biological parents seem like they obviously failed her. And then whoever, these people is that they, named here in the video, that adopted her or fostered her, that they also failed her as well too. Just a sad, tragic situation for a child. But let me know what y'all think. I'll have the original video pinned at the top of the chat and in the link in the description. Also, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. Also, if there is any videos that you run across that you think that fit the channel, you can post it in my community tab, or my Instagram will be typed out in the pinned comment for you to copy and paste it into Instagram from there. Also, my Instagram will be in the link in the description for if you have a hard time typing, where you can copy and paste. Not copy and paste, where you can press the link in the description that will take you straight into my Instagram. Also, follow me over there as well too, because I post over there. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace. Welcome back to Young Tripp Reactions. I found some more information on the video of the 7-year-old girl who was beaten by her foster family. Make sure that you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Young Tripp family, and if there's any videos that you run across that fit the channel, you can post it in my community tab, or you can send me a direct message over on Instagram. My Instagram will be spelled out in the pinned comment, and the link to my Instagram for people who have more serious disabilities where maybe they can't necessarily type. My link will be in the description, where you can just hit that and it will take you right into my Instagram. Let's get into it though.
More questions face surrounding the shocking torture death of a Long Island child.
3 women were arrested this week, charged with sadistic abuse that led to the 7-year-old's death. Jor'Dynn Duncan had been placed in their home by a court. And today, Carolyn Gussoff asked Suffolk County lawmakers how that could have happened.
It's a picture-perfect suburban Cape, but prosecutors describe a house of horrors inside, where they say 7-year-old Jor'Dynn Duncan was tied up in a bathtub and routinely tortured.
Tied up in a bathtub and repeatedly tortured. Insane. Let's continue.
3 generations in one family were charged in her death Wednesday in what prosecutors called wicked and evil torture.
The cutest little thing that you want to see in your life. Never saw any marks on her face.
Neighbors are horrified to learn the details of her December death after Emily Kelly called 911. An autopsy documented 90 injuries, including whip marks and internal stab wounds.
Including whip marks and internal stab wounds and 90 injuries. 90 injuries, including whip marks, internal stab wounds. Insane. Let's continue.
Caused a fatal infection. Prosecutors say the child missed 40 days of school, and in each case, Kelly provided an excuse, a family trip, or a death or illness. Prosecutors say no.
It led to an infection. She missed 40 days of school. And every time the lady gave a reason why she missed. A family emergency, a death in the family, illness. Insane. Let's continue.
Not only did Kelly subject this child to horrific abuse and torture, but appallingly, she documented it with videos and casual.
And now you're getting exposed on young Tripp reactions today. You want to torture 7-year-old kids and lock them in restrooms? You're going to get exposed today on young Tripp reactions and held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. You uncivilized mutt. You and your family will be held accountable today. Let's continue.
Text messages between her and her daughter. You can't hit her face, you gotta hit her body if you're gonna hit her. That's another thing we've gotta hide.
Shocked about.
You hear how crazy she said? You can't hit her face, you have to hit her body. That's another thing we gotta hide. Well, you're not hiding any longer because you're exposed on young Tripp reactions today, and now you're going to prison. Let's see how well you torture them in there. Let's continue. Because they don't play games when it comes to children.
You can't hit her face, you gotta hit her body if you're gonna hit her. That's another thing we've gotta hide.
Shocked about that people could act so savagely.
Suffolk County Executive Ed Romaine says the county's Child Protective Services involvement in the case was minimal.
It's not a failure of CPS, and the child's placement was done by a judge. We will act on any information that comes out that suggests to us that improvements can be made.
The child was placed by court order with Kelly, her incarcerated father's fiance. Kelly's mother and daughter were also charged. Suffolk lawmakers are calling for a full review.
How was this child placed in the hands of somebody who could be this unfit and this abusive? How could school, not see her for 40 days over the course of a year and not ask questions?
Schools are expected to contact CPS when there's repeated unexplained absences combined with warning signs.
The personnel at the school are mandated reporters.
We have no comment at the moment.
Jor'Dynn's biological relatives declined comment. Small memorial.
Of course they don't have no comment. They lost her too. And ain't no telling what they were doing that made them lose her. Insane. Let's continue.
Flank the front.
The personnel at the school are mandated reporters.
We have no comment at the moment.
Jor'Dynn's biological relatives declined comment. Small memorials flank the front steps, which neighbors say was part of a major house renovation since the child died. All 3 women have entered not guilty pleas. In Bayport, Long Island, Carolyn Gussoff, CBS News, New York.
Advertisement. Well, legally, yes, they can plead not guilty, but the evidence is right there. So I don't know how you're going to get out of it, what you expect your attorney to do. There's going to be tons of people in there in prison that's going to say, do that to me. Do that to me. And I guarantee you, y'all going to pipe down and you ain't going to do nothing. Gonna torture a 7-year-old child. You uncivilized mutts. Y'all gonna be held accountable by the prison system, by the other inmates, and by the Lord and Savior himself. Let me know what y'all think about this. I'll have the original video pinned at the top of the chat and in a link in the description. Make sure that you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. There's a ton of people watching. Only a handful are subscribing at a time, so we definitely want to push that up. And, man, rest in peace to this young girl. Her biological family failed her, and her foster family / adopted family failed her. A damn shame. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Join the Young Tripp family. And if there's any videos that you guys run across, make sure you post them in the community tab or send it to me over on Instagram. My Instagram will be spelled out in the pinned comment. And the link to just hit my Instagram to go straight to it will be in the description. Peace. Such a damn shame.